morning. I'm here for my weekly drop-in on a Friday. I am working my way through questions from people who signed up for my newsletter. Many of the people who sent me a question had this same question, which is, how do you know when a painting is done? And so I thought I'd go through kind of my thoughts on this. Definitely not the definitive answer on this, but my thoughts anyway. I have a few different thoughts about this. The first one is it's much easier to know when something is finished if you know what your intention is. So if you and I set off on a car journey and we have no destination in mind, we might be lucky, we might find an interesting place on the way and have a really good day, but more likely we'll drive around aimlessly and eventually get home fed up with ourselves and not having really seen anything interesting. It's exactly the same with the painting. Sometimes when you set off and you have no intention for the painting, sometimes you hit magic by accident and you love what you've done. You know it's finished and there's no problem. Only thing is you can't repeat that again. If you have an intention, it's much easier to decide when something's finished. Now, that doesn't mean that you start with an intention. You might do, but you might find your intention partway through. So you might start by playing and experimenting and then discover something along the way. So starting with an intention would be, I want to paint an abstract painting that feels like a storm. But finding your intention partway through might be that you're playing with paint and then you suddenly love the way the blue looks against the yellow that you put there. And you think, I want to make blue the hero color of this painting and I want to highlight it by putting it next to little bits of yellow. And that's my intention. That's all an intention needs to be. It's just that you need a clear idea of what you want me, the viewer, to see when I look at your painting or to feel. If you have that, it's much easier to judge, have you got there or not? If you're just meandering around aimlessly, how will you know when you got there? So intention, I think, is key, whether it comes in at the beginning or somewhere along the way. The second one is accepting truly within ourselves that no painting is going to do everything. So at the moment, as many of you know, I'm working on a series of paintings inspired by the nature poetry of Ted Hughes. I have an overall feeling about those poems. I wouldn't be able to put it into words. That's why I'm painting. But if I tried to get all that into one painting, it'll never be finished because I'll know it's not successful because I can't possibly get all the extent of what I want to say into one painting. If I accept that I might make 10, 20, 100 paintings on this theme, they all have to just do a little bit. So I don't have to achieve everything every time that I paint. That can be a big. There was one person who wrote to me and she said she had something like 26 canvases that were almost done, but they just needed some tiny little thing that hadn't been done to finish them. And that made me wonder if she was actually wanting every painting to do everything. And so because it wasn't doing everything, she couldn't consider them finished. So just accepting that there's no such thing as a perfect painting is sometimes enough to help you finish. Also, the way I decide is I stop when nothing else is niggling me. If I'm looking at the painting and saying that little black dot there is just really annoying me, or I don't like that blue colour that I've put down, or there's one little patch over there that just doesn't feel right, or there's something about this composition that doesn't feel spacious enough. If there's a little complaint in my mind about the painting, then it's not finished. When I've addressed every niggle that I have, when I can't think of anything else that's annoying me, when I like looking at all areas of it, then it's done. The last way that I know that I'm done is accepting that this is the best I can do for now. I will always hopefully be getting better. And I think sometimes we can't call a painting finished because even though nothing else is niggling, we secretly feel like we could be better. We secretly feel like, I'm sure there's more inside me than this. And there is. That's the good news. There is, but not just yet. So if you've answered all the niggles, this is the best you can do for now. There are paintings here behind me piled up. There's about 3 or 4 paintings that a year ago, 18 months ago, I considered finished and I put in frames. Now I have them in here ready to take out of the frames and remove this finish and start working on them again because I don't think they're done anymore. But at the time I finished them, I wasn't just making do. I really felt like that's the best I can do. Now I'll rework them. Hopefully somebody will buy them. If not, a year and a half from now, I'll probably look at them again and say, I could do better. That's the nature of what we're doing. So finishing paintings really is a lot about just accepting that what you can do now and being okay with that, finishing it, moving on to do some more, because the only way you'll get to that point where you want to be is to keep doing the work. So to summarize my 4-step approach, have an intention, not necessarily at the beginning of the painting, but somewhere along the way, have an intention. Accept that you will never make a perfect painting and that no one painting can do everything you want. Just settle for one thing. Stop when nothing else is niggling you. Call it finished, seal it, sell it, make some more. If anybody is watching and has any other suggestions about accepting that a painting's finished, do drop it in the comments. If you have a question for me, feel free to drop them in the comments here. But the best way to get questions answered is to be on my newsletter list, because I regularly ask for questions and then I answer them in these videos or in the newsletter. So every Sunday I send out a relatively short email just with a little article addressing somebody's concerns or talking about my own struggles. There's sometimes a video in there. I share the latest art juice, and sometimes I share things of other people's that I think would be useful. Being an artist can be quite a lonely thing. Having this email come through every week is just like a sense that you're not completely alone. You can sign up for that above, below, next to this video, whichever device you're watching it on. There's a link to sign up. That's it for me. It's been brilliant to see you. I look forward to reading the comments after everybody's had a chance to watch. Let me know what you think and how you decide if a painting's finished. Take care, everyone, and have a good weekend. Bye.